Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here. It is January 4th, happy Friday, and it is Xur Day. He has arrived in Winding Cove on the European Dead Zone, so once you land in, try not to get exploded by everything going on in the public event. So I'm just going to drive on through, over here to the left, and let's see what we've got in his inventory. Easiest way to get up here is once you see this tree, got the cave to run in the back, and you'll pop out right in front of Xur. So, I'm not the only one here. Let's see what Mr. Tentacle Face Man has for us today. Alright, so of course your Fated Engram. That's going to give you at least one thing potentially from year one that you may not already have. If you do have everything from year one, it just might be a chance at a new roll. So it's really up to you guys. And then if you are looking to do Nightfalls, solos, I've done a couple of those videos this week, more to come. This is what you use to change your modifier. So if you're newer, haven't picked one of these up, make sure and grab your 5 of Swords so you can pick all the modifiers on your Nightfall strikes. And to get started, we've got a weapon that had some glory days, kind of been overshadowed recently, the Graviton Lance. Haven't actually seen this thing in a little while. Always looks pretty cool. It is a pulse rifle, and basically what it does is now a 2-shot pulse rifle. So it's to-doom, to-doom. And the second one, basically, it says second shot of a burst rips a hole through space-time, doing high damage and recoil with no fall-off. So crazy damage at range, very stable. The first and second shots are pretty solid. If you aim at, like, say, upper torso or neck, that second one is a pretty solid shot to be head. You can do a double tap on the head, too. It had a point where it was, like, really good in the meta. Pulse rifles are still good, but now as there are so many other exotics we want to use in other slots, this one has been kind of overshadowed. It did get an awesome buff, though. Like, if you take this thing into PvE and you start popping heads on thralls, the explosions and the little particle effects that go on from cosmology is really, really cool. So, kills with this weapon cause enemy targets to detonate and spawn void projectiles that track targets. It's really fun to watch the insanity go on if you have a whole bunch of thralls running at you and start getting kills with this thing. It goes pretty crazy. So it is a fun gun. It is a really cool one. I think just lately it has been overshadowed just by some of the other ones we've got. Like my Go Figure feels really good and it's legendary. And then I can use other things like Thunderlord in my heavy spot. So I think it is a good gun. If you don't have it, I definitely recommend picking it up. Unfortunately, I don't know how much use it's going to get currently right now because some other things are really solid, then heavies are just like kind of the best place for exotics right now. Even like Le Monarch, the new bow, is just, it's going to be an energy weapon. So it's kind of hard to take away primary exotics. They just don't feel like they're worth the exotic space. But again, if you don't have this thing, add it to your collection. It is a lot of fun. And honestly, if you take it into PvP, it's still a pretty decent gun. So not bad overall. Got hammer forged rifling, accurized rounds, so pretty big boost to range. You can see the stability is already capped max, which is awesome. And then fitted stock is just a couple boosts in places. It's a pretty solid overall gun, a lot of fun to use, and still decent in PvP. It just might get overshadowed, but it's still not bad. For the hunters, we have Celestial Nighthawk, so always a cool looking helm, and it's very specific to Golden Gun. No other supers, not even Blade Barrage. Modifies Golden Gun to fire a single high damage shot. Enemies eliminated by the shot explode and grant you super energy. So if you kill like a mid-level enemy, like a major or a mini-boss or something like that with your crazy single damage shot, basically take Golden Gun, multiply it by 6. You get one of them, and if you make it count, it does a lot. But some people are always worried about using Golden Gun and Celestial Nighthawk because you would have basically just wait till the final boss to use it. Well, now you can use it on a mid-level, enemy or a couple groups of enemies, get an explosion on the big one, get some of your super energy back with the kill, so you actually don't have to just wait as long. So it still makes it a powerful shot, but you'll actually get a chance to use it more frequently because you'll get some energy back when you do. So not a bad one. There are certain places like Raid Melting, Boss Melting, if you go like 3 Celestial Nighthawk Hunters, it's still effective. So if you don't have this one, make sure you pick this one up. Like, of all the things I could probably get a quick glance at, this is one you're going to want to make sure you have just because there always seem to be some circumstances where Celestial has some benefits. It is going to be resilience and health recovery, so for a change, nothing, just pure mobility, which is nice. We've got fusion rifle targeting, hand cannon targeting, and hands-on. So extra super energy on melee kills. If you're going throwing knives, might have those coming at you as well. We've got sniper reserves and machine gun reserves. These two are about as good as you can ask for reserves. I'm not really worried about primary reserves, but snipers, good things like whisper, stuff like that's always good. And the machine gun, like lately with machine guns being amazing, the more reserves you have, the better. So this is actually a pretty solid roll of mods on this one. Next, we've got the Dunemarchers for Titans. Linear Actuators is going to be your intrinsic perk. Increases sprint speed. So you actually run faster. It's like one of the few things that will actually do that. Sprinting builds up a static charge. After melee attacking an enemy, that charge will chain damage to nearby enemies. So if you sprint for a little while, you build up a charge. It's probably about as long as it takes to build up like the shield or any type of charging effect. And then when you get that melee, it's going to actually do a chain burst. So the sprint speed's kind of cool. I know some people may use these just to cover more ground in PvP. Again, if you guys use these in builds, leave a comment below where you guys have like a good place, a build that these work really well. For me, I don't use them because just sprint speed and then that little melee charge attack afterwards is not overall that appealing. Personally, for me, there's other exotics I would probably use, but in PvP, even if it's just sprint speed, getting in that melee range, get a little burst off, it could be alright. So, I mean, PvP exotics for the Titans, if you don't have One-Eyed Mask, are probably kind of limited. One-Eyed Mask is insane right now. If you do have it, that is pretty much the one to go with, but I know that's all about RNG, so if you want to mess around with these, you know, add them to the collection, see how they go. We're going to have Mobility, which is probably what you're going to want to do anyway on these if you're going for that purpose. Fusion Rifle Dexterity, Hand Cannon Dexterity, and Outreach. Reduces melee cooldown when using your class ability, so pop a wall occasionally and you'll have your melee up more often, which is always good. Scout Rifle Scavenger, which is kind of meh, because Scout Rifles are basically meh right now. And Special Ammo Finder isn't a bad thing, though. More of a PvE perk than PvP. I'd like to see Scavenger there if I was taking these into PvP. Finally, we have the Sanguine Alchemy for the Warlocks. Now, this is kind of a fun one to use that got some hype there in the Warmind days. Heightened Senses. Standing in a rift, of your own rift, I'm pretty sure. Maybe other rifts probably do it too, but usually you're kind of in control of your own. Grants you and your allies heightened senses, allowing you to retain your radar while aiming down sights, which is a good thing in itself. If you're holding down a point, you've got control, pop a rift, you've got your radar, you can see if anybody's coming up behind you. The bigger perk, though, is additionally, nearby powerful enemies are visually marked and can be tracked without line of sight. So you don't have to shoot them to mark them. They are marked just on your screen if they're within about, you know, your radar range. You're not going to see halfway across the map where every single person is at, but if you're in kind of a tight space, say you've got a rift, you're standing there holding down a point, you can literally see when somebody's going to about to peek around a corner, and you, if you want to just wait on your shotgun, and bam. Like, it's a cool thing. Now, it's kind of hard to use. It's very specific to rifts, so having a build for class abilities, like Paragon, I think it is, would be a good thing to put on your modifications if you want to use this. But really, it's kind of a cool thing to use and see, but I think it ends up being a bit more of a novelty overall. But if you are one who runs a lot of rifts, you like those, you're running control, you have your aim down sights when you're in your rift, which is always a good thing. Say you run an empowering rift, it doesn't say healing, empowering too, so you'd have more damage. Then if somebody walks around the corner, even if it's not a perfect shotgun shot, with empowering, you're still going to know they're coming, probably a decent shot to take them out. So there are some cool ways to use this. I would definitely say it is very much a PvP exotic, not so much in the PvE benefits, because tagging a few enemies to see where they are, you probably know where most of them are going to be. You're going to have unflinching bow aim, unflinching fusion rifle aim, and unflinching kinetic aim. And remember, even if it's like a kinetic bow and, you know, you can get unflinching kinetic aim, going with the specific unflinching perk for a specific weapon type is going to be a bigger benefit than just kinetic. Now, and you can switch weapons. If this is like an exotic, this isn't a bad thing. If you want to switch weapons and have benefits like all the time, that's cool. But generally, like the specific ones, if I know I'm like pulse rifles, I want unflinching pulse rifle aim because that's going to give me a bigger benefit. Over here, we've got Scout Rifle Reserves again and Special Ammo Finder, both kind of Like, Special Ammo Finder is at least decent for more of a PvE thing, but again, as this is a very PvP-specific kind of chess piece, no, I much rather would see Scavenger, which you're not going to see here anyway. So, perks are meh, but at least you could add it to your collection if you're missing it from, you know, your triumphs or anything like that. It's a cool PvP exotic, though, kind of fun to mess around with. So overall wrap up, pretty fun gun to use if you don't have it. Definitely buy it and check it out if you got a decent amount of shards to spare. Celestial Nighthawk, if you're a hunter, ever thinking about playing a hunter, get it, because it's just a way to take Golden Gun and make it really effective, really fast, either melt one mid-level enemy, or just put a huge chunk of damage into a boss. Like, if you want to peek and get as much damage as you can at once, nothing else can compete with Celestial Nighthawk. Dunemarchers, sprint speed, that's up to you if that's your playstyle. If you're a run and gun shotgun person, this may work very well for you. So again, that's up to you guys. But that pretty much is Xur for the week of January 4th. I think he'll be leaving on, what is it, 5th, 6th, 7th. He'll leave on the 8th, and that is also when Niobe Labs launches. So enjoy your grind this weekend. Black Armory Pulse Rifle is what I'm going to be working on, potentially doing a stream later, so follow me on Twitch or Twitter, see when I go live. But if you guys haven't subbed to the channel yet, please do so. We are really close to 30,000 subs. 2019 is going to be an awesome year. A couple of the games to cover. Anthem Division 2 look like they're right up my alley, so a lot of content coming to you guys. So if you enjoy the videos, drop a like below, leave a comment. But as always, thank you guys very much. Hit that sub button if you haven't yet. I will see you guys in the next video, maybe my next stream. Have an awesome day and weekend, and I'll see you soon.